Hey, monkey boy. This time I can prove the Israelites weren't black using ChatGPT. Ha!
So that's what we're doing now? Using AI?
What was that? I couldn't hear you over that smoke alarm chirp you people can't hear. Say that again?
Hilarious and original.
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
I said, is that what we're doing now? Using AI to prove who the Israelites are?
That's exactly what we're doing, and I'll show you, boy.
Oh, brother.
2 hours later.
Your room still stinks.
Look at how easily ChatGPT debunks everything you chimps have to say. Ha! You was not kings, and you was not Israelites.
If we're going to use AI, then let's at least use an AI that's trained on the Bible without the Masoretic mistranslations or any agendas and actually tells us the truth.
Liar, there's no such thing.
I'll show you. Let's use Israelite Bot. Go to israelitebot.com and ask the same thing.
Fine, but I bet it'll say the same thing as ChatGPT. No! No!
You see? I told you.
No!
And it shows biblical proof.
No! This is preposterous. I hate this website. It's all wrong.
Stop crying.
Your website sucks.
The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Well, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you all this morning. Well, family, last week we had technical difficulties because I told you, look, they're watching. You have to understand the way that we do things here is a lot different. You're now starting to see the digital policing, as you will. So understand that at any time, again, I can go down here in YouTube because we are a second class digital citizen. And the thing is that they can give you all sorts of apologies and anecdotes and everything else after the fact because they know that what happens is as you are in the midst of a live broadcast, that live broadcast is where people are tuning in, and if they can affect you, then they'll affect you, and if not, oh darn, we'll try it again. But the reality is that there's a lot of stuff that's happening in this world. And the reality is that as things are happening in this world, you have to understand it's kind of like a script of well, it's a script, to say the least. It is a script. And we're seeing the script of just folly, but now it's starting to turn into fear for those that don't understand what's happening. I want to start off here because this is all for my my British folks, my British. I want to put this on out there.
Said, no, lift it. This is objectively just Trump not leaving the stage after he gave the trophy. Watch the FIFA president right now. He's like, Trump, come with me. Come with me. Trump's like, no, I'm staying. Look, he's like, hey, Trump, come. Trump looks at him and goes, no, I'm staying. He's like, I get some people don't like him. I get some people don't like him. I get some people hate him. But this is just objectively hilarious. He said, no, I'm on the team. This is my country. I'm celebrating. Like,
you know when you have that uninvited guest. This is it. And you could see everything that was being stated here. You could see all of the things that was going on. You had the bladder person, I think, right there. He's kind of in the darker. He's in the blue or darkish tie, and Trump is right there. And the reality is this. Why was the man messing up their celebration? And honestly, over the week that he's had, and really over a lot of strong allegations, but here you have it. Because this isn't just indicative of Trump. This is indicative of the United States. Now, keep in mind, because again, I've been a Chelsea fan for a little under 20 years, since 2006. The captain of that team, Reece James, he's a black man from out of the UK. He's also on the English football national men's team, or men's national team. And you know what that did? Yeah, exactly, Sister Bonnie. Trump always has to be the center of attention, but guess what? You also know what that means? It shows what we have been dealing with here in the United States for centuries. You're not going to let a black person shine. I'm just going to tell you this. This is the analysis. Whether you hate it, whether you love it, this is the analysis. You have a black man there that is the captain of the club, receiving the honors after he denigrated African leaders earlier in the week. Well, let me show you how we own these black folks in the African diaspora. Oh, you win something? Oh, you do something that's beneficial? They even have you in a place of honor as a leader, as a captain. I'm just going to post right next to you. And I'm not even going to let you celebrate this honor with your team. Here's the reality. You don't do this. Not with the team. No, you don't. For any other clubs, any other spectacles, they got their medals. See what, and let me break this down to you so you all understand how FIFA and soccer and all these things react. Because I'm going to tell you, if I were seeing my son being obstructed like that, after his hard work, his dedication, his body and brokenness, Reece James was out for like a season and a half after he had been injured. He had fought from injuries over 3 years. And he's in his best form for the last year and a half. He probably had to change his diet. Whether or not you like soccer or not, understand you don't have a president going up in the middle of a Super Bowl as a team celebrating. No. You don't have a president on court side. Did this happen in the NBA? I'm going to ask you, did this happen when the NBA won their championship? Did this happen in the Super Bowl? Nah, he left the Super Bowl, remember? Now, what he did was that he honored them by giving them the medal. So all the metal around their necks, you can see the metal around their neck. Let me go to a better picture because you have to understand what it is. They have all the medals around their neck. See, when they get the medals, they shake the president's hand. They shake the president of FIFA's hands. And then they come down and then they celebrate with their trophy as a team. But what that was, honestly, that was pretty disrespectful. You didn't see any of the royals come down and celebrate. None of the British royals. You didn't see the prime minister for the UK. But you saw this. And now think about what you're seeing here. You're seeing this as the Epstein files had basically disappeared. You're seeing this in the midst of the beginning of a very bad humanitarian crisis for Alligator Alcatraz. You're seeing this in the midst of the dollar sliding. They can't even have bread and circus without the clown getting in the way. Wait, you're supposed to be outside the picture for the bread and circus. You're not supposed to politicize anything. Well, guess what? That totally destroyed the Texas narrative for them flash floods. That totally destroyed the narrative. That's a whole bunch of politicizing right there. I'm just saying. That to me, that was very uncouth. Because to me, it's showing that America's a bunch of clowns. And we have a clown show. I'm not upset about it because I already understood that we're in a clown show. When the man is trying to, move him from the stage so the team can celebrate. Exactly, Miss Carol Lee. It's classless. America has no class. America has no tact. Don't we get all that? Look, everything that we do, isn't that always an interruption? Oh, I want to be involved in the middle. You've done nothing to help. I can understand at the beginning of the season last year, he said, I'm a Chelsea fan, had the pictures on. He didn't know anything about this team. He didn't know anything about this roster. Yeah, don't worry. Half the people on this roster, I don't even like y'all's countries. That's why I had the little AI generated. It's a clown. It's a clown. Because why? Because it's a folly. It's the folly of this nation because now this nation, they're looking like fools. They're looking like straight up fools. And he's the one having them look like fools. From the Hill, Musk slams Trump's defense of Bondi on Epstein controversy, just released the files as promised by Sarah Fortinsky as of yesterday, July 13th. It says here tech billionaire Elon Musk blamed or blasted President Trump on Saturday over his defense of Attorney General Pam Bondi and her handling of the case related to the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. Musk, in a late Saturday post on the social platform X, which he owns, responded to another X user who had attached a screenshot of Trump's Truth Social statement earlier that day and wrote, "This is in the running for worst post ever made." Seriously, Musk said, agreeing with that statement about Trump's post. He said Epstein half a dozen times while telling everyone to stop talking about Epstein. Clown behaviors. Just released the files as promised. Musk, a few minutes later, responded to a separate post calling the Epstein case Trump's Achilles heel, rebuking the president for pledging to release the files on the campaign trail and now dismissing the significance of the case. This is a very big deal, Musk responded. What kind of system are we living in if thousands of kids were abused? The government has videos of the abusers, and yet none of the abusers are even facing charges. I have that article in there. You all can read the rest. The bread and the circuses aren't even working. Now, my personal opinion is that more than likely Trump is on those documents. And the reality is that when you see that he's on the documents, when we see that he is there, well, technically speaking, he already started trying to blame Obama. You can't make it up. Blame the black man. Unreal. And it's on out there. I don't care either way. I'm apolitical on this stuff. But this kind of goes to show you the heart of where we've been at. This person right here writes July 12th. The very essence of MAGA right here, folks. Pay attention, lifelong. I'm not going to say that word. Philandering criminal, Trump Epstein's wingman, blames everything on the black guy, the decent family man with no criminal indictments, Obama. And the cult will believe it because they're trash. That's what they're saying. That's one of the breakdown. Here's the breakdown. This is Abdi breaking. Donald Trump confirms Epstein files reflect badly on him as they were written by Obama and crooked Hillary. Note: Trump was the president when Epstein got self-deleted, and their hashtag Epstein client list. And Trump is saying here in highlight, you can read this there on Twitter, but I'll just read it so everybody has the context. This is from a real Donald Trump from his social that was reposted on X. It reads as follows: "What's going on with my boys," in quotes, and in some cases gals, in quotes. They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it. All over a guy who never dies. Jeffrey Epstein. A guy who never dies. Okay. So much to say. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more. They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me. And now my so-called friends are now playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files if there was anything? If there was anything. I'm telling you, you can't make this up. Exactly, Pastor Rick Fletcher. It's wrist direction. But yet, when he's saying all this man was on the campaign trail talking about we're going to release those Epstein files. I can't. I can't. I'm telling you, I'm done with this place. I'm done with this place. You are the man that said that you were going to release the Epstein files, but you couldn't redact your own stuff from out of the Epstein files. My goodness. So what's the fallback plan? Blame the black guy. Do y'all understand? This isn't really funny at all. This is dangerous. The dollar crashes. What are we going to do? We're going to blame the black man. The economy is going to trash. What are we going to do? We're going to blame black people. The economy went to trash. It went to trash because, you're asking for reparations. We're now in this predicament because we woke up. Shout out to Sister Gates of Holder. Yesterday when she broke that down regarding World War II. This has been the whole stage. We have been subdued in our captivity, and they played the most games that they played in our captivity. The most games that they've ever tried to play. To keep us distracted, to keep us looking at misdirections, to keep us looking in this way and that way and this way. And I'm going to tell you this, it's going to be a distraction through and through. It didn't matter with Biden releasing it. The moral of this, don't get caught up in the don't get caught up in the political matrix. That's not what this is all about. It didn't matter who was going to release it. It was never about it being released. It was always about a distraction for them. For those that can see where this distraction is, what this distraction is meant to do, it's meant to take you away from the coming statement from the Trump administration, the coming statement Now, remember a couple weeks ago, or it was last week, who knows? Trump had said he's not going to send any more weapons to Ukraine. I don't even think I spoke on that. I don't even think I talked about it. Some things I don't talk about because I already know it's just a big old lie. No, they were going to send weapons. And then it became too blatantly obvious. See, let me tell you about that story. The whole sending weapons to Ukraine deal. Sorry, I'm going to try to. Let me get a better article on out here. I'll come here to New York Times. New York Times is usually pretty okay. Okay, let me go ahead and share this story with you all. Okay, what happened to the story? All right, here we go. If I can actually ever get to the story. So, right here, I put that in the article. Trump is expected to announce new weapons pipeline for Ukraine. Under the plan, other NATO countries would buy U.S. made arms and then give them to Ukraine to defend itself against Russia. NATO Secretary General set to meet Mr. Trump on Monday. This is as of July 14th, less than an hour ago, by Steve N. Erlinger. Trump is expected to announce on Monday a new arms supply for Ukraine, including more advanced Patriot missile defense batteries that NATO member countries will pay for. The NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, who has been coordinating the plan, is expected to join Mr. Trump for the announcement in Washington. Mr. Trump told reporters on Sunday that he would send the missiles to Ukraine to help defend the country against Russia's invasion and again criticize President Vladimir Putin of Russia, saying he talks nice and then he bombs everybody in the evening. Okay, well, I think the same could be said of others. Just saying. Let me go ahead. Mr. Trump has expressed increasing disappointment and anger with Mr. Putin over Russia's refusal to agree to a ceasefire more than 3 years after its full-scale invasion, and has at times threatened to impose new sanctions on Moscow. Now, here's the reality of this. You know, he talks on nice and then he bombs everybody in the evening. Same could be said about some Cubans. I will vote for Donald Trump. Same can be said about some Cubans. You're talking all nice during the election, and then you deport 6 months later. Look, the reality is we have to see the full hypocrisy of this nation. Don't get caught up or into any type of political whims and things of that nature. You have to understand this place is a bunch of liars. That's why I don't think I even covered this story. I know he talked about it last week. Oh, he was going to not send arms to Ukraine. Then all of a sudden, he's going to send arms to Ukraine. Like, stop. They're already in a war with Russia. They're just having to make it more pronounced and more pronounced and more pronounced. Probably the bigger update to this is as they're sending the Patriot systems, more than likely, they're going to send on out some military advisors to help with the Patriot system. That always happens. Or they're going to talk about all of these, quote unquote, sanctions packages that don't work. At the end of the day, America is playing Europe because why? Because they're going to make them pay for play. You wanted this war, now you're going to have to pay for it. Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing about this whole article. This is so funny. Oh, I just put on my military analysis hat. Stay with me here. The Patriot system is both expensive and in short supply, but it is thought. But it is thought. But it is thought to be the only effective defense against Russia's best ballistic and hypersonic missiles, which have been clobbering Ukrainian cities and infuriating Trump. Does anybody remember what just happened last month in that Eastern Mediterranean nation? And all of those hypersonics that messed up that Eastern Mediterranean nation? That all you saw was what systems does the Iron Dome use over in that Eastern Mediterranean nation? What system does the David Sling use in that Eastern Mediterranean nation? And those were Iranian made. Those were the generic hypersonics, the generics. Those were the great value brands. They weren't even getting the name brand stuff. They were getting the imitation. Just a bit on quality, not really the same quality. Sorry, we've seen this field tested literally last week. It couldn't even save Mossad's headquarters. Just saying. It couldn't save those targets that they had. Did you see how the missiles just kind of went up and over and couldn't hit their target? And then they landed and had to hit something. What goes up must impact back down. And that's what happened. And it really happened in a very interesting manner. So now they're wanting to tell the people that it is thought to be the only effective defense against Russia's best ballistic and hypersonic missiles. Wait, y'all couldn't even stop Iran. What is this really? That's the question that really should be on people's minds. What is this really? This is just the escalation ladder. Hey, well, guess what? They'll never do anything with American soldiers in there. Hey, guess what? They'll never do anything if American soldiers are there going into Russia. Hey, guess what? They'll never do anything if American soldiers are heading into Moscow. This is the slowest rung up the ladder. They're just crawling. It's a crawl scaling up the ladder, the slowest in history. The slowest in history. Well, we know our economy is getting ready to sink, so we're going to try to perfectly time this that come October, November, December, not much people are going to do when it's cold outside. Benny's bargain basement hypersonic missiles. Yeah, for real. Yo, my man, y'all couldn't even stop Big Lots' hypersonic missiles. What makes you think you're going to be able to do something against Macy's? The Home Depot missiles. My goodness. I don't know. I have to laugh. It's clown behavior. It's folly. Yeah, that's going to do it because why? Because you have now a group of people that mind you now, we're actually at the level of we're actually at the most uneducated that we have been in this country since literally like the 60s. they got they got them Timu. So all we hit you was with we just hit you with the duplicates that weren't even scaled to size. You know, when you be buying stuff from Timu and stuff like that and all them other places, they don't even have your size. They'll have a sticker on it that says that it's the size. And then that sucker is like, yeah, it's the size for a 12-year-old. Yeah, I'm gonna get it. Yeah, this nice designer brand. Man, how come this thing don't fit me? You're right, brother Day. And then the U.S. is sending over Acme missiles, talking about this missile's gonna work, folks. They be having Elmer Fuds. It does seem like it is an all-star cast. A real life Space Jam. Ukraine and Iran war style. You can't make it up. It's almost cartoonish. It's a Goodwill missiles. They're thought. It is thought to be thought. Do you know why they say it's thought? Because here's the thing, they don't even want to release the official results of the impact or the testing from last September. I usually do stay abreast to things like that. How effective are the Patriots? Well, they couldn't tell you. And then they tried to tell you some like ominous thing of, well, we know that at least 3 out of the 10, and we know that it was about 7 out of 10, and we realized that about 9 out of the, like they couldn't tell you. They could not tell you. Does it work or no? Define your idea of if it works. Well, something that works 1 out of the 10 times, it works. It just works 1 out of the 10 times. Same could be said 3. They're trying to use that type of logic. Well, if it's about 10 missiles, we may be able to get about 3 or so. But see, that's 3 that didn't hit. See, pat yourself on the back. See, what about the other 7? What about the other 7? These folks are literally trying to sell you a Mick instead of a big A Big Mick instead of a Big Mac. We got the all 2 quarter pounder patty, special sauce, lettuce, onions. Not on the sesame seed bun, but it's without the seeds. Oh my goodness. But that's the folly. And all we can do is literally just laugh at this, because if you don't laugh, you will cry. You're going to be looking confused, but what you're actually looking at and what you're staring at is the death of a nation. Only black folks can save this nation. That's right, black folks. You and I can save this nation. The way that our ancestors had saved this nation. No, no, no. Not through fighting, not through protesting, but an even greater, more admirable sacrifice. Your ancestors did it all for this nation that we're not really ever grateful for, nor will we ever pay you back for. But we're requiring that same sacrifice today. So go to your nearest caretaker. When Jacoba had that. When Jacoba had that on. Your caretaker was such and such been doing the way he said it too, though. The way he said it too. Well, we're not trying to get rid of everybody. So if somebody was there for a while, and if you don't have your caretaker, your plantation owner, if Massa don't have your papers belonging to the plantation, no. Owner's responsibility. Oh my. When he said that, how do you say that with a straight face? We're going to have people be responsible for you. Wait, are you for real? Are you? Exactly. You're not going to be a citizen. You're just going to be a kind of sort of indentured servant. And see, when you come back to the farms, then guess what? Then we're going to have black people come back to the farms, because they're going to see how cool it is to come back to the farms. And see, when you get started, guess what? You'll at least get paid $11 an hour. Ooh, $11 an hour. Well, black folks only get paid 11 cents an hour. See, look, see, huh? You'll be able to come and go with the pass from Massa. Easy. they're going to have strict rules and requirements to make sure that they don't try anything crazy like running away, have that drapetomania, that mental condition for freedom. How crazy do you want to be to have a mental condition to to this is freedom. You are free to move around and pick that field. Don't ever say we didn't do nothing for you. We gave you a sense of purpose. Because all you all were doing was just on the YouTube and the TikTok and the Instagram, just wasting your lives, not being productive. Now, with these VR headsets, you can watch all the YouTube you want while picking them fields. And added bonus, your owners are able to see just how productive you are as they are able to have AI record all your movements via your VR glasses. But you can watch all your favorite TikToks. You can even scroll without clicking a button. And you're just picking the fields. We may laugh, but that's the reality that they want to bring this world to. Not necessarily the world, but this nation. Remember, they're cutting themselves off from the world. When you're seeing that the State Department is getting ready to lay off people, these things aren't a mistake. These things are strategically situated. Veteran U.S. diplomats baffled after mass layoffs. This is from NBC News. Current and former Foreign Service officers gathered outside federal buildings on Friday to clap out their colleagues who had been laid off. They laid off folks. This is July 12th. More than 1,300 employees were forced by Abigail Williams, excuse me. More than 1,300 employees were forced out of the State Department on Friday, leaving their offices with small boxes of plants and old coffee mugs and taking with them decades of specialized skills and on-the-job training as part of the United States Diplomatic Corps. Because why? Because why? Because you don't need any diplomacy. Where are you going to go? Good luck planning a vacation in the next 6 months to go anywhere when your dollar is sliding. Good luck. So if the dollar's sliding, do you think that they're going to be able to pay for or afford anything? No. What we're doing is we're sliding into a digital third world country. You know, they got everybody used to cell phones. They're going to get people used to augmented glasses, augmented realities, so you can act like you live in a mansion, but you only live in a 800 square foot unit. If that. You don't even have a one bedroom. You're just living in a efficiency or a studio. But you peep those glasses on so you can act like, man, you're going to room, you're living, you just went out to your yard. You're looking up in the sky from your patio, which is still going to be in your room. I wouldn't be surprised they're going to have people living in storage units with just running water. Everything's cool. This is the best. Look at my digs. You see how much I purchased on my digs? Yeah. They'll give people jumpsuits. Because why? Because they're just going to see your augmented reality. Clothes. Look at what I got for at Gucci. And you're in like a white, dungy, dirty looking suit that hasn't been, or prison suit just about, that hasn't been washed in years. Because to afford real amenities will cost you. That would never happen. Are you sure? We perfected it. Now part of your UBI. You have to live here. Oh, you thought that it was just going to be universal basic income for you to live in your house, in your apartment? To live in your townhouse? To live where you have been living, but yet you can't afford that. So now you have UBI. And guess what they're going to tell you? You need to go over to this area. See, what you all don't know, Florida has plenty of those types of farms, those facilities. It is not just in Alligator Alley. So you know you can have an emergency declaration stated to ensure that the economy does not falter. I thought I was a federal employee until part of the buyout stipulation is you actually have to report to this work camp. It's part of your buyout. Oh, and you better not take off your augmented gear because it's waterproof. Everything will be waterproof. If your gear comes off, you only have 10 minutes to put your gear back on. Or else, that little connector brain chip that's connected to the side of your temple looking like Geordie LaForge off of Star Trek. You notice it was a brother. And he had the cerebral connectors on his temple. It was the brother that was literally showing LeVar Burton's character on Star Trek. He was literally showing you what it is that they're trying to have. We may look at this as a dystopian future that will never be. He was blind. You want to know why he was blind, right? Yes, Cynthia. You want to know why he was blind, right? Because at that time, most of us were literally spiritually blind. When that show come out, late 80s, early 90s, we were spiritually blind. So it was actually, the joke was on us. Look how revolutionary this is. Look how everything is going. Yeah, it was his visor. His visor. He could see through his visor. He could see through the augmented reality. AI will be able to show you a picture, and that picture will be false. You got your universal basic crypto-based digital currency. And yeah, that's exactly where they're going to go to, is the Borg. You're going to get Borgified. Because why? Because the more you do, the more you feel. It feels like you're just in reality. Don't worry. Body augments will be used because why? Because more productivity equals what? More money, and that equals what? More of your augmented livelihoods. Doesn't matter if it's fake. It just matters about the experience. See, all these new age digital evangelists and everything else, they don't tell you about what that actually means in that new enslavement. Enslavement to what? The image. The image. They're going to do what? They're going to worship the image. See, they're already starting to worship a kind of an image. They just haven't worshiped the full image that will take place. This is the folly that it's leading to, because people are going to say, oh, that's cool. This is cool. That's awesome. But they're not understanding what it is that they're actually giving up. This is not a time to be comfortable. Sorry, that was over. Even in our awakened state, we actually had a time of comfort. Let's just realize it. It was all becoming uncomfortable. But now we're at the real time. Folks can see persecution coming down the road. Yeah, I think I saw that. That was a Dave, the Upgrade movie. While you're sleeping, your head demons will inhabit your body to fight against God. Yeah, that was the man that was in the wheelchair, right? And then they put the implant in him. And then that implant had him started killing people, deleting people. And he was crying and depressed. He was trying to end his life, and the tip wouldn't allow him to literally end his life because he was totally out of control. Oh man, I've made a mistake. I want to leave. Can I get the implant out? Nope. No matter how much you try to take the implant out, the governor on there will not allow you to, and will not allow others. I can't tell you that things are going to get better. Matter of fact, I don't believe things are going to get better. I believe things are going to get worse, and they're going to get worse, and they're going to get even worse, especially here. Tell me how things are going to get better with almost $40 trillion in debt. Tell me how things are going to get better when countries are closing off. That's why they're doing that, to close the doors. So when you try to escape, you're not going to be able to, for a good majority of them folks. Wait, I should be able to. Wait, I should. I should. See, the reality is that we already have this understanding. But the problem is that they're always late to the party on this understanding. And then when we tell them this understanding, then they try to say to us, you're a hater, you hate everybody. You're going to go into slavery, you're going to go into captivity. No, we're not. That's not going to happen. They're going to fall for their own trap. And they're falling hard in their own trap. This is the scenario. Their folly's going to go to fear when they realize they done messed up. And they haven't even realized yet that they messed up. They're not even on that level yet. They're nowhere near that level. Sure, you can have your reparations. Just get this implant near your eyes. Because why? Look, your reparations are investment to the future. That's not going to give you reparations willy-nilly. We're going to invest in you so you can invest in us. Tell me how reparations will work again. Tell me how that will work again when you have millions of dollars that you can't take outside the country. But if you get millions of dollars, then everybody has to get millions of dollars. See, we all got reparations all at once. Do you know that's how that story goes? Because why? In the new economy, they can just make up money out of thin air. And they will stay on code. Because why? If they don't stay on code, then they can be digitally deleted. You had a thought that you were going to actually tell them about this reparation scheme. They get a big red X. Your unit will be terminated in 5 seconds. I got a big house. I got that. Yeah, you surely do. As you're living in literally a cubicle, a jail cell. But your body is literally thinking it's walking around a big old mansion. Have your mind thinking it's walking around a mansion. And you're just in a little cell. A little cell. This is not a movie, it's not a game. This is the reality that we live in. But there is hope for us. There is hope for us. I don't say all this just to be like, well, it's just going to be doom and gloom. No, there is hope for us. That's what they want. They're going to get there. But remember, when they get there, they have to go through a lot of different things, to include war. Imagine to have something on your face like that and you don't even know. Your mind, your brain won't allow you to process that because AI is showing you that there's nothing there. That's the most scary thing as ever. That's the scariest thing ever. I'm sorry. And people think, oh, that's just sci-fi. Okay. They would have told you decades ago that having a computer, laptop, television, cell phone was just what is going to be sci-fi. You don't even know what they're capable of. Because in my opinion, I believe that what they're capable of hasn't even been demonstrated yet. So these are just some of the things to consider. I pray that we don't have to go through them, but I do have a feeling that we will be seeing it. I do have that feeling. Don't look at them in awe or any type of craziness or anything else. Lest you be caught up. So this Sunday, July 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. July 20th, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sister Shar will be presenting for the Supreme Court ruling. She'll be giving an analysis. That way you can get an in-depth analysis. This is part of the Law for Love seminar series. Sorry, my computer does not want to cooperate. The critical constitutional considerations. Now I'll put this here in the chat. Family, we are nearing our goal on the medical shipping container. I am looking at that rigorously. Again, it is still in transit on its way to Africa. Right now, it is in Europe, making its way. It's a very interesting journey. We'll give you all that information once we get the container over into the hands of Burkina Faso. And understand, this is the most sensitive thing that we've done, especially as a people. So I have to say, please do not take any of this lightly. Understand that there are forces at play that do not want to see this container making it to the hands of the Burkinabe. And we're talking about globally. Coming together is literally how you show power. So I have been busy trying to work some things on out over in the continent, getting things together to finalize this last piece. We're learning all this together as it's going. And on top of that, it did not help with the dollar literally being depreciated in the manner it's being right at this time. It doesn't help. It really just means a lot of things become a little bit more, it costs more. I am getting ready to host another class for the NeoDiplomatic Corps Cohort for fall. You can get the summer rates by visiting neodiplomacy.com. By visiting neodiplomacy.com. My class is getting ready to graduate, and we are talking about the next steps, which is very exciting. Because we're able to see how the Most High is opening up doors. You can look at on that. It's at neodiplomacy.com. You can look at neodiplomacy.com for those details. Yeah, this is all the crypto. They changed over the crypto. So now you have your CBDC changeover that's happening. So now just keep that in mind. The more your stuff is changing over, the less of a value it's going to have within the dollar. And I was going to speak on that, why they are devaluing the dollar, why they want to have a weaker dollar. It's going to cost more for us, but it's actually going to be a savings for them. So our weaker dollar does affect us. But it does. It does. It's a price comparison thing. It becomes more attractive to price things in dollars. So it's manipulated to go down as they're trying to go up in XRP and all the digital currencies. So we'll see how all that goes. We'll see how the data, shakes on out. But that's the story for obviously another day. Well, with that, I do have to get up on out of here. I'm going to be kind of busy Thursday or today and tomorrow this in the morning, so I won't be opening up the lives until about Wednesday, Thursday. We'll see how this goes with the big announcement in Ukraine. If the key word is going to be military advisors, key word, because understand if they're going to send over patriots, then they're going to send over military advisors. Do y'all remember when they had deployed? Remember how they deployed the military over to that Eastern Mediterranean nation? What, like 6-7 months before it all went down? They sent over like 250 Marines. Remember that? And then they still sent over, I believe it was like 82nd Airborne. They had troops on the ground. They had boots on the ground. Because what they're going to say is, well, we got to work on the logistics. We got to get those logistics together. Things of that nature. So let me also put on in here the container fund. Please share these links with your family. What this container is doing, it is doing something quite phenomenal, to say the least. Quite phenomenal. So with that said, I got to head out to this appointment. Thank you again for your prayers, family, your support. Again, please keep me up in prayers. A lot of things going on. Most High is moving, and I'm trying to not be weary or weak in this time. Because the last thing I want to do is just slip up. But again, thank you for your prayers and your support for this channel. With that said, Most High willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. And with that, you all have a blessed and awesome day that Yahuwah has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. And do not fear. While these nations are fearing, guess what? You need to be celebrating. Because you're seeing the victory that the Most High is giving his people. Hallelujah. You're not walking in fear. You are walking in literal victory. So name it, proclaim it, share it. Speak it on out. Speak out that life. Because why? Because literally the heavens open up. They do. So with that, that's all I got to say. I will see you all tomorrow, Most High willing. Hallelujah. And with that, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharel.